Hello, this is Dustin back with Dustin's Dollars. Today I am again talking about AITX. This is part of my series walking through AITX as I evaluate it as an investment decision for myself. And today we'll be talking about AITX's debt, their convertible notes. Actually, I think there's only one that's still outstanding, and their promissory notes, all the liabilities that they owe, in terms of debt to other parties. That's what I'm walking through today. And so, real quick, let me remind you that I am not a financial advisor or a financial professional of any sort. All opinions that I express in this video are mine and do not represent those of any company or any other individual. I do not own AITX stock. This is part of my process whereby I am evaluating AITX. So basically, this video should be for entertainment purposes only because I could be wrong about everything I say in this video. You need to do your own research before making any investment decisions. So that being said, let's get right into it. And I'm using the numbers from their most recent quarterly filing for the quarter ended November 30th, 2021. So all these numbers should be current as of November 30th, 2021. And if we look at their balance sheet here, and today I'm really only looking at their debt. I might make another video where I sort of pull everything together where I will mention some of their other liabilities here. But today we're talking about their debt. And on their balance sheet, you can see it right here. Actually, I did not even look at the related party loan payable. It's a small dollar amount compared to the rest of the debt. But we're looking right here. Current portion of loans payable. That is about $3.6 million, right, in current, meaning as far as I understand it, what they would have to pay in the upcoming 12 months. And I'm looking at, we have their accrued interest payable that they're going to have to pay in the next 12 months. And then also their non-current loans payable of, almost $13 million, 12.9 if you round it to the tenths. And their accrued interest payable there of about $1.5 million. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to dig in. I looked in all the details, right? This is what's at their top line here, but then you can scroll down and read all the gory details in their that's fine. So they have it all listed on this table. And first, those are for their loans payable. I'm also going to take a look at their convertible notes real quick, and it will be real quick. And that is because as of right now, they have one still outstanding with a balance, it looks like. They have one convertible note with a balance of $3,500. It is in default. That's what this asterisk here means. The indicated note was in default as of November 30th, 2021. Default interest rate is 22%. It's a little weird given that they have a couple of $1 million of cash on the books that didn't pay off $3,500 convertible note. Maybe there's something I'm missing there as to why they can't do it. I don't know. It's not really material because it's such a small amount of money. But going down to their actual loans, their promissory notes, they have this nice table here that splits it out so you can see every single one of them, and it tells you, when the loan was issued, when it matures, what the principal amount still remaining is, or principal amount, I should say, and then what the annual interest rate is. So, what I did was I manually took all of these, copied them into a spreadsheet, and I have a couple, and then they also have footnotes for each one of these notes, but each one of these loans. But I put it all in this spreadsheet here so that I can then take a look at it and see real quick some details about these. I made some charts down here to show how much principal is due on various points of time, and then also to be able to compute. Hi, McNeil United Enterprises. It's because they can't find the note holder. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Thank you. Yeah, that would make sense. Like I figured there had to be some reason as to why they didn't pay off a $3,500 loan. That was a little ridiculous, but yeah. So what I have here is I put these all in this list, and first of all, I did a bit of math, added up, right? And if you look at this in terms of how much interest are they paying every month, and I made a couple adjustments here for some of them because they some of the notes don't just pay interest in a simple manner. So I looked at what their monthly cash principal and interest payments together are. They have a couple notes that a couple of these here where they said they're actually paying monthly to pay back both the interest and the principal amount. There were two such notes. I have them in bold here. Again, the numbers there are relatively small, but I guess they are larger because they're paying back that principal as well. But then they also have this massive loan for $4 million. I think this is from a former director, it said. And this has a 7% interest rate. It matures in the middle of 2026. They got like a 5-year time horizon on this loan, on this this particular promissory note. And but it says that all of the interest and principal are payable at maturity. So I am reading that as they don't actually pay any cash for this particular loan at the current point in time. So, to me, that seems like an interesting bet on that guy's on that former director's part of to see where the company is going to be in 5 years, as far as whether they will have $4 million to pay them or not, and that they're not paying anything in the meantime. But it is what it is. And so if I just look at this and I make those adjustments, it looks like every month right now, AITX is actually paying $235,000 in cash payments for all of these promissory notes, for all this debt, which is pretty big. Again, this is per month, right? So every quarter, that would be, that's at roughly $700,000 a quarter in terms of what they're paying out for loans payable and also interest. And if I just look at the interest rate, if I didn't make any adjustments, I just did straight the interest rate divided by 12 times the principal amount for all of these loans, every month they're at least accruing about $248,000, almost $250,000 of interest every single month. So that's obviously a huge liability for the company at this point. So yeah, that is what it is. Now, I also put together a graph showing when all of this is due. And I put it all in I have it listed out here, but then somewhere down here. Yeah, I have this table. Let me see if I can make this fit the screen just a tad better. I'm gonna have to see if there's a way to like zoom in on these in sheets here. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. And so the blue bars correspond to the left axis here, and they're showing how much principal is due in each month. I probably need to make that just a tad smaller so I can so you can see the actual months that these are. Almost. Sorry, bear with me. There we go. So every month the blue bar represents how much how many loans mature in that particular month. And you can see there were actually some that matured in February. I started this in February. That was the first month where some of these actually matured. And then the red line corresponds to the right axis here, and that shows what their approximate monthly cash payment is from those particular loans. And then this shows how that's going to go, how that goes down over time as they pay off these loans. And so, you can see that it actually is spread out, although they have quite a bit, what's that, about $7.5 million that is due by the end of this month, right? In between February and March of 2022, which is a huge amount of money, given that in November, they had $4 million in the books. And I previously did some math and figured out that they maybe had like $7 million of cash roundabout now with the dilution that they've done and the cash they had on the books at the time. Again, sort of my projections, but it's a bit concerning. Like, I actually don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll figure out a way to refinance this. I know that if you read some of these loans actually that were issued in 2021 were refinancing of prior loans or settlements, or some transactions actually rolled over old debt and they took on new debt at that time, which I'll go over in just a second about the accrued interest. But then I also have this that shows you the same information, but aggregated by year instead of by month. So it's a little bit easier to see. And you can see that, most of their debt is due in the next 2 years. But, if I go back up to the monthly one real quick, you can see in 2023, the debt that is due. Most of it's at the very, very end of the year, right? It's in December, where they're going to owe almost $8 million of loans that they're going to have to repay. So that's the current state of the company there. And just to also sort of show you over time how their accrued interest has been growing. I looked at this over the past 8 quarters. And this is what I said, that they did do some sort of a refinancing or settlement, some transaction in between the quarter ended November of 2020 and the quarter ended February of 2021, because you can see that their current accrued interest payable was up in $3.5 million range, and then it drops way down, right? That all goes away. That they took on different debt, and you can see what this looks like over time with this nice bar chart here. If I can get it zoomed correctly, the new debt was to give better terms. Yeah, and I didn't dig deep into it just because like there's a lot to go through. But I did look at the old filings, and that's a good point, right? And I think they've improved things. You look at this, and these were, I think they were mostly, sorry, I only scrolled through it real quick, but you can see there was a lot of there's a lot of discounts. Like if you read through I skimmed through some of the notes, and they're even here where they issued this debt at huge discounts for the conversion rates, and I think they also had discounts on when they actually issued some of these promissory notes. I think it's down in the descriptions here where you can see, it's the yeah, you can see some of these there. But anyways, thank you for calling that out. That was, sorry, for anyone who's not watching this live. McNeil United Enterprises said the new debt was to get better terms, and I totally agree. The new debt, it does have better terms, and I mean the point is though, they still have a lot of debt, for a company this size and for the revenues. But yes, I agree that this is better than it was a couple years ago, and that's actually what sort of I take away from this. I've previously looked at the company. When I first looked at the company, I did a video, just scanning over the balance sheet, didn't look into any of these details here, and it's it looks awful, right? It's the liabilities are huge compared to the current state of the company in terms of revenue and assets. But yes, things have gotten better, and that I think if you're a bull in the company, you can make a reasonable case that yes, things are bad, but if revenues keep growing, profit is good, they'll find ways to get better and better terms on debt to be able to roll this over. If they can keep their head above water while they actually grow revenues, right? That's the bullish case on the company. And you do actually see evidence of that here, where you do see some of the older debt was at worse terms than the newer debt. And if that trend continues over time while they are also able to grow revenues and keep profits, then that's a good narrative for the company. So that is really all that I had to cover today. I think that walks through what they have in terms of outstanding debt. I don't know if you had any other comments or questions. McNeil United Enterprises, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I'd love to have some more back and forth on these streams. But I'm still getting into this, and still trying to figure out if I can get like a regular time to do this. I think that would help out a lot with some folks joining. But that was all I was gonna go through today. I did think it was. I still find this one very interesting that they have this sort of, I think they call it like a zero coupon loan, right? Where they're not the lender that I think was a former director isn't getting any. Just another note, I did see that they do have better terms on the debt. And again, I didn't look at the old ones, but I know that they also issued a lot of warrants along with these debts. I guess I don't want to call it ironic or necessarily funny, but the strike prices on the warrants are way higher than the current stock price anymore. So for the company, at least at the current moment, that's effectively free, and you actually see their liabilities due to those warrants going down quarter over quarter because the stock price is going down. All right, so I don't have anything else. I don't see any other comments on the live stream. Thank you for joining McNeil United Enterprises, and I hope you have a good day, and I will see y'all later. Thank you very much.